every indication that about 4,000 years ago, the South Pole and the North Pole moved. The North Pole, I believe, was in somewhere north of the state of Wisconsin, and the South Pole was out in the Pacific Ocean. And scientists know pretty much for a fact by direct measurement that the ice cap on Antarctica is no more than 4,000 years old, and in fact Antarctica prior to that was occupied. It was actually had animals and, I believe, human civilization. Siberia was a tropical climate 4,000 years ago with mammoths. If you saw the one they dug out of the Siberian tundra, this was a tropical animal that was quick frozen in the tundra with tropical plants frozen in its...
Do you know where 90% of the population of the United States lives? Within 20 miles of a coast. It would not take much of a tidal wave that struck all the coasts to eliminate 90% of the population of this country. It is the same in all countries that are close to the water. These cities are quite easily wiped off the face of the earth. And especially when we're talking about rims where tectonic plates come together, these can simply just fold in on themselves, and those cities could be 1,000 feet below the ground, 10,000 feet below the ground. In the ocean, there's evidence of whole continents just sinking beneath the sea.
Let's say hypothetically, something is coming this way. Let's say it's coming now, and being very far away, it has a very slight gravitational effect on Earth. And each year that it gets closer, the gravitational effect on Earth is slightly greater than the year before. And that is directly or indirectly causing the increase in frequency and the increased intensity of storms, earthquakes, all sorts of weather anomalies around the planet. If that's the case, would it not stand to reason that Earth is not alone? Because we have other planets in the solar system. This thing would just naturally, it's not picking on Earth, it would affect all the inner planets.
And it does.
Is it?
Yes. Several planets in the solar system are experiencing global warming as we speak. For instance, we've had a satellite going around Saturn now for 18 years. We've been making measurements of Saturn for 18 years. In those 18 years, the atmospheric pressure of Saturn has changed 30%. If that occurred on Earth, there'd be no life left.
This event you're referring to, did this occur over millions of years, or was this a sudden event?
It's an interesting question. There's very little evidence that it would have occurred over millions or even billions of years. We have seen that these events occur suddenly in space. For instance, the Schumacher-Levy comet that struck Jupiter. It was discovered, it was named, and it hit Jupiter within a single man's lifetime.
So you're not talking about catastrophic disasters that happen, say, over decades. You're talking about disasters that happen within weeks or months, major cataclysm, which literally wipe out all life.
So what will unfold during the last weeks? First, a severe wobble. Second, a lean to the left, where the north pole of Earth tries to evade planet X, which is coming at Earth in a retrograde orbit from the right. The Earth will be basking, north to south, in the light of the sun before this falling to the side rolls into the 3 days of darkness. Third, the 3 days of darkness for the northern hemisphere, when the north pole of Earth continues desperately to escape the north pole of planet X, which is pointing directly at the Earth. Fourth, 6 days of sunrise west, while the Earth stops its momentum and returns to an upright position. During these 6 days, the north pole of Earth will have swung to the right due to momentum. Fifth, a slowing rotation until the Earth stops rotation entirely, with the Atlantic rift facing the Sun and the approaching planet X. Sixth, after 5.9 days of rotation stoppage, the hour of the pole shift when the north pole of Earth is violently pushed away, ripping the crust from the core of the Earth. Roadways will heave, trains will derail, and bridges will snap and drop, as the Minneapolis Bridge over the Mississippi did on August 2nd, 2007. Dams will fail and sinkholes will appear, such as this one in Guatemala on February 23, 2007. Buildings will implode, dropping into the ground beneath them, such as this one in Germany on March 2, 2009. And gas lines and refineries will explode, such as this Moscow gas line on May 10, 2009. These phenomena are on the increase, but during the last weeks will become an epidemic. So be in your safe locations well before the last weeks.
The wrath of God abides upon you already if you are not a believer in Jesus Christ. Already. That doesn't mean that God goes around with a perpetual smile upon you. It means what it says. His wrath is upon you. If you can get this idea into your minds, into your souls, into your thought process, that there are those of us in this place right now who sit here at relative ease. God hates you. God's wrath, God's indignation, God's anger is directed to you more than some who are in hell right at this moment. See, can that be? Yes! Because some of you have sinned in the face of greater light. God's Word says, to whom much is given, much is required. That servant who and didn't do it will be beaten with greater stripes. There are some of you, you have heard the gospel. You have heard the truth. You have mothers or fathers or wives or husbands who have prayed for you. You have a Bible in your hand. And you know what? You have provoked God more than some who have lived in past generations in inland China or Central Africa. Because you have far more light. And God's hatred towards you is stirred. His indignation is stirred far more than for those who are there.
On the smoke of hell. In this horrible darkness, the damned lie helpless as blind men, or as those who have had their eyes cruelly put out. They see nothing, for smoke stings their eyes, and the poisonous fumes of sulfur destroy their sight. We know how dense this smoke is from the account given by St. John in Apocalypse 14:11. Thou knowest how disagreeable smoke is to the eyes and nostrils. In fact, no one can remain in it for a quarter of an hour without suffocating and being half blind.